Hey everybody, and bright blessings. Lady Leeanna here once again with another edition of Wicca for today. And it is absolutely great being back here in front of you once again, talking about a subject that I love so near and dear as I do witchcraft and Wicca, paganism in general. I really do thoroughly enjoy taking all of the knowledges and wisdoms that were bestowed on me by people before me that I always uphold and revere as being beautiful, just, honest, and also giving, and taking it to you guys, sharing it so that their words can be carried on, so that the tradition of paganism itself can be carried on in its many different pathways, I really love what I'm doing, and it's great to have you guys join me back here on the channel for yet another show. You guys have been extremely supportive. I couldn't ask for any better people. Very supportive. And lately, I've been having a lot of questions to do with clothing and apparel. Whether it's hats, shoes, socks, belts, blue jeans, logoed t-shirts or t-shirts in general, gowns, whether tight or loose, bell sleeves or non-bell sleeves. I've had a lot of these questions, and actually it leaves for a video of its own. It's such a good question, because there are many different answers to this, and the real answer is, well, there's nothing really wrong with him wearing anything, but there are things that could halt or hinder your energy from getting out or coming in. There are things that could offend other people, and really, as bending, giving, patient, good guru people, we should consider other people if we want them to consider us. So all of this is important. Also, there are certain colors that could work better for certain situations, whenever you're talking about the color of your apparel. So all of this is very important, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I personally like to wear loose gowns, short-sleeved, non-bell sleeves, or long sleeves, but those that are kind of snug against the arm, not tight. Loose but not dragging. That's what I'm looking for right there. I like these kind of clothings. Also long, drag almost at the ankle but not flowing everywhere. There's a lot of dangers to do with fires, and that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the bell sleeves. They're very mystical looking. They're very loose and could be very comfortable for the most part. But they also could be very flammable and dangerous at the same time. Not really altogether ethical for the situation when you think about it. You're reaching over an altar. You're doing things over candles and incense. And the things that you don't expect to catch fire sometimes do. A lot of times I've noticed people catch on fire without realizing that they had for a good while, and other people were already putting them out when they were like, okay, what are you doing back there? I've seen this, and you don't want that. You do not want the very thing that wraps your body to catch on fire. So bell sleeves, long dragging robes, cloaks inside circle, not the best idea. Okay, and I know it's mystical. I know it looks good and luxurious to the pagan. I love that stuff too, but I won't wear it in circle anymore. I've become a lot more knowledgeable over my 32 plus years or whatever within paganism and doing ritual in circle with a lot of candlelight and all of that. I've learned what is best and what is worst. The materials that you wear can be very important. If it's wintertime, a good velour, velvet, or whatever could be good. Silk or satin. But in the summertime, especially if you're practicing outside in the heat, You want to wear something thin and cottony like t-shirt material, not even a pressed material like a tablecloth, not a pressed cotton like a tablecloth, but like a loose t-shirt type material. Something stretchy and bendy that lets a lot of air in. That's always your best material. If you want to talk about comfort, and in the wintertime you want something that's velvety or velour or double thick and heavy, that's the only time. Terry cloth, you know. Pullover is always best. Pullover is always best. It's not going to come open on you. And I've had my robe come open, you know, and as a pagan, and being around a lot of pagans, you would think that it wouldn't be as big of a thing, you know, but when they show embarrassment in their face, then you have no choice but to show embarrassment, you know. And I'm not a sky-clad kind of person anyway, never really have been. And there's something to talk about, sky-cladness or clothing, and we didn't even mention that. But, you know, there's a lot of funny people, and a lot of weird crap happens when you fall out under the power. You don't want to fall out under the power. You know, robes and everything coming undone, and we generally do go naked under the robe, if you must know. But, yeah, it's funny. I'm fixing to laugh. But, yeah, I've seen some pretty funny shit, okay? Anyway, back to topic. When you wear a robe, it could be very comfortable. If you wear bell sleeves and it's flowing, it could be very hazardous. People also step on it, and you could come down and on top of your altar full of daggers or whatnot. A lot of weird shit does happen, okay? And it's not kosher if it becomes a danger for you. The thickness or looseness of the cloth, the color of the material is very important. Let's say that you are new within paganism. You haven't expanded to take in a lot of energy yet. Black is worn typically to draw in a lot of energy. And if you're not used to it, it could be very zapping. Okay? And it could take you out. It could make you pass out or faint. It's not a good idea. And there are some groups or covenants that reserve the darker colors for people that are long-term within their pathway or long-term within that group. Lighter colored clothes are always better for people that are new, initiate or below. I even today wear light colors for various necessities. When I'm doing a ritual of pure love, I want to wear pink or white. If I am doing a ritual for purification or healing, I will wear white, or I will wear a lighter green. If I am doing a ritual for praising the goddess, being at one with the earth, I will wear a lighter color green to medium color green, or a light tan or light brown. But there are various colors for different situations. If I'm angry and I'm trying to temper that energy down, then I may be inclined to wear, let's see, green, so that I can grow from that which hinders me, rather than to direct that out. Whenever I wear red, which is very rare, is whenever it's a matter to do with sexual love or to do with getting ready for battle, which really, you know, with a pagan would be subjected to battling with demons or internal battles even. So limited to that for the most part. Generally, I don't wear red for the most part. Oranges are a color for warning, and basically I don't never wear orange. I don't find a need for it. You could wear any other color, especially your protective colors for that. When I wear black is whenever I'm wanting to soak up a crap load of energy, or whenever I'm wanting to direct a bunch of energy. When I'm wearing yellow, it would be for general happiness, joy, and contentment. But watch out for the negative connotations of these clothes. When you wear red, it also has connotations to do with blood, or sadnesses, depression. It can have to do with war. It could draw negative entities to you if you don't know what you're doing. If you're wearing black, it could zap you if you wear black and you're new to what you're doing, just like I said. But it's always good to consider what you're doing. Neutral colors are always good. And that is, if you're new to the craft, wear white or tan. If you're midways in your pathway and you don't feel strong enough to wear black yet or darker colors, wear your medium browns, navy, mid to navy blues, your medium greens. Greens are always a good color. When you're well endowed with gifts and very adept on your pathway, then wear blacks, dark browns, things of that nature, darkest blues, and darkest purples. Those are power colors. But be ready for those colors when you wear them. People ask about wearing jeans in a tight place or where you're wanting to be most relaxed. Jeans are very constricting. They cut in behind the knees, they cut in at the inner thighs, they cut in the crotch area all the time. They have metal in them. They're really never good for circle practice. Never. For regular group meetings, okay. You know, where you might not want to wear logo t-shirts and so forth, where they might be insulting to people or degrading to people's pathways. You might want to watch what you're wearing as far as logos when you're visiting temple places you haven't been before. Belts you would never wear within circle, but you could wear everywhere else whenever you want, within standard group studies and so forth. I don't see anything wrong with that. But whether you're in covenant practice or solitary practice, belts never help you. Shoes. They don't help you connect in with the earth. There's rubber soles on your shoes. As a matter of fact, people wear rubber soles to prevent themselves from touching water when they're working electricals or when they're not wanting water in. It even prohibits, the elements. So what good could they possibly be? When we're in pagan practice, temple practice, circle practice, we don't ever wear shoes. If we're outside and there tends to be stickers in the ground that we're at, or a lot of sticks or stones or whatever, we may wear flip-flops because at least the sides of our feet are open to accept the energy from the earth and the tops of our feet. But it's best off if you wear moccasins if you've got to wear shoes. That's thin soles, but they're there and not made out of rubber. People ask about talismans and jewelry. Well, there's people that say, well, I've got this wedding ring on, I've never taken it off, and I'm never going to. Well, nobody asked you to do that. That's a religious symbol of its own. It's a spiritual symbol and the biggest talisman you will ever have. One that means more to you than any other talisman that you can wear. Nobody ever expects you to take off your wedding ring, ever. And so you wouldn't expect that. Whenever we're talking about belly button rings, that if you take it out and it could be raw if you ever try to put it in, we generally make amends for that. We understand these things. Although, really, if you're wanting to be at one with the earth, you want to keep it down to a minimum. But, we make amends for certain jewelry that either can't come out or won't come out because you're steadfast to that. It's ritual to itself, you know. But, you know, then you're talking about talismans. People may want to come in looking like Mr. T and shit with all the bling and stuff, you know, crystals and stones and metal out the wazoo. That is going to prohibit your energy from flowing from out of your body, for one thing. For another thing, if you do manage to increase the energy in your circle that you're wanting to send out to Joe Blow over here to help heal him so he can get well, that energy ain't leaving that circle. It's going to meld to your jewelry and it's going to stay there. Your energy is going to be well empowered for a long time to come. But it's not going over there to heal poor Mr. Todd that's dying from cancer. Or to help, what's her name over there, get past the loss of her loved one, you know. It's not going to leave that circle. When you drop those walls and you send it out, it's not going anywhere. If you have a lot of crystals and gemstones sitting around on your altar, if you have metal in all of your tools and you don't protect those by silk every time you use them, then they could be very prohibiting in letting your energy release. The same is to be said for letting things in. Okay, yes, a lot of jewelry can contract a lot of energy, but it could be the wrong kinds. So be careful, be choosy about the type of jewelry that you will wear, and limit it to one talisman and all of your prohibited from leaving your body type jewelry. I wear one talisman in my circle every time. One and one only. And it may not be this one all the time. It may be an oak leaf that I wear. It may be this pentagram. It may be another pentagram that I have. It may be my tiger's eye crystal that I have. It may be any one of those. It may be my Librian symbol that I have on a black cord. But I wear one and one only. And I will choose the jewelry to suit the need, the circle, whatever it's being casted for. And that's always a good bit of information for us to live by. Other people, when you go to join them in their circles, they could be offended by you wearing a lot of jewelry, because they'll be thinking, okay, we're supposed to increase all this energy, but we're all sitting here wearing a massive amount of jewelry. What is this energy for? Who is it going to go to? It's going to stay within yourself. And so you'll find that if you're visiting a lot of covenants or groups, they're going to talk to you about this before you can come into covenant practice. Let's see. What have we not covered yet? Watches. Watches are usually never a personal item, and those could come off. Why wear a watch? Watch is full of time. It is something that specifies a direct connection to man's concept of time. It's always better left outside of the circle, because you want to be free and able to practice as long and as hard as everybody dictates that it should go on, and for that time, without looking at a watch, without reminding everybody else to. So there's an idea. Use it to the best of your ability. Likewise, cell phones. You don't want to take cell phones into a circle, and you want everybody to check them at the door. Otherwise, you have each of 30 people's cell phones going off every 3 seconds, and all the distraction in the world. It's not going to help you. And people just don't seem to understand when I try to tell them that. Whenever in the later groups that I had, that people didn't want to buckle down and be at one with me, and the way that we were talking about doing, you know, ideas that we came up with when we started putting it together. But you know, cell phones are never really good. Earrings, they can be done without. That's for sure. That's a jewelry that could come out and be put back in. And nose rings likewise. Those could always come out and not get too sore putting it back in. They get changed all the time. Let's see. Loud perfumes and colognes. Not so good. Those things really bother me. They bother my sinuses. And I was a smoker at the time whenever I was practicing a lot with other people. And the perfumes were so loud, so sweet, that it would make me sick. And even the mildest colognes or perfumes catch your attention, whether good or bad, and they take you out from what you're doing. So never good. Bathing. Okay, now I've had several occasions where people would join me in circle and they were not bathed. Bathing is important on a couple of different levels. You have people all over you. You have people surrounding you. You're all over people. Okay, you're mixing energy, and I'm not even talking sex magic here yet. We're not even talking about sex magic, and that's something to consider for a later video. Okay, but you're all over everybody else, and everybody is all over you in this little 9-foot circle or 5-foot circle or whatever. You know, you're in tight quarters. This cologne, this perfume is really loud and noisy. But if somebody doesn't bathe, it stops the ritual. I mean, I for one, if a person comes in and they have the sourest armpits, I'm going to say, you know what, I'm sorry, I've got to excuse myself. I'm going to drop out of that ritual altogether. I cannot handle that. And nobody should have to break down a complete circle of how many people that pulled together for this particular event. And I'm going to tell you another thing. You know, if you're going to go into a ritual, there are ritual cleansings that you should do before every ritual. And that is baths with holy water or salt dropped into your bath water to purify you. And fastings that you would even do before you would go into ritual. All of this is very important. And I'm doing a lot of videos now for y'all revolving around ritual. I'm not really trying to, it's just the way that it's worked out throughout the month of October. But it is very important. Ritual cleansings are very important, but even more than that, your physical body cleansing. I do not want your armpits all over me. Even if you're trying to catch me from falling because I'm going to hit something, I'd rather fall, you know. And that, I think, is everybody. You know, the 91% that actually don't go into circle with dirty armpits. Anyway, so very important. I know that we're not talking about apparel here, and I've gotten a little off topic, but this is a note of importance. It really is. What I was talking about is something you would put on that goes with apparel or accessories or whatnot, and that is cologne and perfume, and we'll get back on topic. I'm sorry. Just a subject I'm very passionate about, especially since I have had this happen to me. Not to me or with me around, you know, somebody coming in, you know, being dirty within circle. And it drove me crazy. I stayed through the circle, but my energy went vroom, all the way down. And you can't blame me for that. But let's see. Is there anything I'm leaving out? I think that I've covered pretty much what I can. Oh, there are bell-bottom pants, loose-legged pants that are stretchy and very thin or very thick, depending on whether it's summer or winter, and you should consider that are stretch elastic waist. And you do want stretch cloth. You don't want cotton that is pressed tight like your tablecloth type material. You want a stretchy, cottony type cloth. You know, those are really good. And in the colors that match to do with your ritual. Those are always a good idea. Shorts are not good because they're distractive. Sexually, there is a lot of distraction that goes on within temples and covenants to do with people wearing sexy clothes. Your t-shirts, no-sleeve t-shirts and stuff like that, low cut and all of that. It's really not a good idea because you're there for a purpose. And I've seen in so many different covenants that they were all sexually oriented, that everybody was bed hopping, there was a lot of jealousies, the divorce rate was highest crap, and that's not what we're here to do. We are not pagans that are here to tear apart marriages, the unity or concept of what a god or goddess would bring together. That's not what we're about. We're not about just sexuality, although, you know, fertility and the relations that are coupled with it are a big part of us. We want to be respectful to all other people, and that's one thing we do need to consider. And in a lot of the groups that I've been in, they were either bed hopping like a big dog and not respecting each other. There were a lot of fights and none of them got along. What kind of family is that? Or they were being very square about the kind of clothing that you could wear within even group study. You know, and I found that to be very logical in the way they conducted themselves, although at first I thought, well, you know, no shorts, you know, and they said, okay, well, yeah, you could wear shorts, but why not some longer shorts? No caps, because that is very restricting of your energy. Snow caps and snow hats are a little bit better. At least their concept is thin as far as that goes, but caps is kind of ritual depreciating. Cowboy hats, kind of ritual depreciating. Witchy hats with the points, kind of distracting in this day and age because you don't see it very often, but I'm sure it would be accepted in most covenants, although, you know, only on certain rituals. Other than that, you know, you're about good to go. Wearing makeup isn't natural, and it may feel very itchy while you're in ritual, or just greasy on your face after a few hours or whatnot, so it's not ever a good idea. You know, hairsprays, that goes along with your perfumes that bother people, and stiff hair is just not natural anyway. Your ear cuffs would go along with your earrings and things of that nature. People could really understand, you know, your belly button rings if you would get sore if you ever took it out, and other earrings in low places as well, you know, but basically the idea is keep the metals on the body to a low minimum. Keep yourself as comfortable as you can within ritual, and don't be eye-catching or irritating as far as smells. Anyway, this has been Lady Leeanna with another edition of Wicca for today, and I really hope that you have enjoyed this show. I've enjoyed doing it for you. A kind of a relaxed show this time because the last couple were ritual, and it's good to just kind of take it easy. Got my candlelight going here with the Samhain colors, you know, and the cinnaberries. You know, I love these candles. They're very, very nice, and they've got a great smell. My pumpkin spice of my dad's candle, and my cinnaberry, or whatever you might call it, to do with my sister's candle. Candles that remind me of them, and they passed away a while back, as I said on a recent video. Anyway, I really, really do hope that you've enjoyed this show, and that you'll join us again with another episode. Take care of yourself, and remember that when you're practicing solitarily, it's by choice, but you still want to be smart about it. You don't want to be constricting of your energy. You don't want to shorten your energy and let it not go anywhere. You don't want to be self-prohibiting whenever you're wearing a lot of stuff that may deflect what you're trying to do. And you don't want to zap yourself by wearing clothes that are too dark for you if you're not of a good stable level within your pathway. Just remember also, whenever you go into other people's domain, you want to be respectful. And we can sit here all day and say, you know, people are going to accept me for who I am and blah, blah, blah. But you've also got to be accepting of them for who they are. But above anything, you want to be patient, level, logical, giving, bending, understanding people the wise ones. That's what we are supposed to be. And that's what we should aspire to be. For ourselves and for others.